What's good, family? Welcome to a Modern Hoops podcast show with the freshest opinions and views in the world's most beautiful game. I'm your host, Greg, and I'm here with the homies, the squad, Dunkman Keith, TK, B.
Why you look confused about who he's about to point to?
Because I was about to say Dunkman Keith, but I was like, that's not Dunkman Keith.
Ain't seen us in a while.
So,
Way rough.
so it's been a minute, man, but it's glad to see y'all. Glad to see y'all. We had to take a little break. Shout out to the USCAA that allowed us to enjoy this whole experience of play-by-play commentary and all that in the third.
Definitely.
The boys naturals.
That's what you know what?
What?
This guy's a natural.
Oh, yeah.
This guy's a natural.
In a bag.
I don't know if y'all heard, we're going to have the clips, but Brian Reed's the Wilson sponsor. Real nasty. Okay?
Is it nasty?
A little bit.
It was nasty.
I don't think so. I thought it was fun. I thought it was fun. No,
You pulled a cast away.
I did.
I'm dropping. Y'all go see the clip. Y'all go check the clips out on.
I just want to know if there was any copyright infringement. Like, I don't know how
you can't
much.
copyright infringement a word.
No, I think that's how it works.
Yeah,
I think that's how
You was called trademarking, man.
trademark. Yeah, I think that's
Right. One, it's advertisement for Wilson. So, like, I'm saying the word Wilson. There's no way that can be copyright
Well,
infringement.
you know what? That's
there can't
fair
be copyright
because the
infringement.
volleyball
It's
was
Wilson.
Wilson. You're
Like,
right.
It can't be copyright infringement on how I say a word. There's no way that's
fair.
possible.
I think
It might be a thing.
I think
It might
I need
be a
evidence
thing.
on that. Somebody got to prove that.
People copyrighting the water these days.
I was about to
That's fair.
say.
Like, I don't-
Like, they can't.
I don't think you infringed upon it, but that don't mean it don't exist.
yeah.
Fair.
Somebody
I agree.
Especially
send us
since
the evidence of this.
The Wilson
I'll go with
ad
it.
was Wilson, and they did have the ball in Castaway.
Yeah, bro. That joint was crazy,
Wilson
bro.
was a good
I
friend, man.
had to tell him to mute me because I could not stop laughing. I could not. But
Good times.
But we enjoyed the experience. Y'all enjoyed the experience?
Yeah, it was cool. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad that we were out there early to late all
Facts.
day. But I really just enjoyed the crowd, the parents. We would get phone calls from like well, not us personally, but people in the stands would get phone calls from people home watching saying like, oh, this was the best play-by-play they've had all year, X, Y, and Z, who are the guys doing play-by-play and color commentary. So the fact that we were just getting compliments like live in real time, just from people back home reaching out to people in the stands to let us know that we're doing a good job, definitely a win.
Big win. Like I told you before we cut the cameras on, the game we did with old boy that played like Paul Pierce.
Yeah. Bucket.
Play like Paul Pierce.
And
Bucket.
He was nice, bro. He was nice. And he came up, and you had already left. He came up to us and he said, my parents called me and said they were watching the game, and he said, y'all was showing a lot of love. we really
My
appreciate
guy with
you.
the fro.
Yeah.
Oh, my man.
So
I love it. I love
stuff
it.
like that, being able to engage like that and be able to just enjoy good basketball on both sides, women's and men's, small colleges. It was a good experience, and we would love to do it again.
Oh no, fact. Already locked in. Shout out Jenna. She already told us about next year. It's going to be same location. So I already told her we'll be down. We'll figure out all the logistics.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. Once again, shout out to USCAA. Shout out to y'all for showing us love.
Shout out my man's Ron.
Shout out to your man's Ron.
DJ Ron.
Was killing it over there.
Nah, going
No
crazy.
skips.
Going
No
crazy.
skips.
Like, he was working.
That
Going
playlist
crazy.
Man was in his bag.
Yeah, no, I might try to get it so I can like edit it over the clips of us doing play-by-play. So like, I don't know. I'm gonna try to hide the joint going crazy. But yeah, shout out Ron, man.
with the
Yeah, man.
mixes.
Yeah, he got in touch with TK and brought it to us, and so we appreciate it. We love stuff like this, and we're down to do stuff like this all summer long, if possible. So y'all keep us in mind. Keep us in mind for anything.
Fast. All y'all AAU tournaments.
Yeah. But we got a good show today. A lot of basketball, on court stuff, not a lot of off court stuff, which is good.
Yeah. For once.
For once. I get tired of the drama. Let's just talk about hoops. So between MVP race shifting, between the play-in and how it's shaking out in the Western Conference and how tight it is still, Damian Lillard not being interested in a rebuild, all this kind of stuff we're going to get into, as well as some weird comments from one of LeBron James' teammates. So let's begin, man. Let's begin. MVP race. Right now, the front runner seems to be, and deservedly so, Joel Embiid. Brian, how you feel, man? That's your prediction.
Like that was my prediction. And you know what's crazy about it? My prediction is coming true because of the very reason I said it would. Because I literally said the reason Jokic isn't going to win is going to be because of voter fatigue. And here we are.
Here we are, man.
Like, Jokic has put up a very worthy MVP season as well. So is Giannis as well. Mm-hmm. And it just feels like because people don't want Jokic to win and they're kind of not trying to give another one to Giannis, it feels like everybody just feels like Embiid is due.
Yeah.
And they're just kind of going with it. And Embiid has deservedly so taken over the conversation. I mean, averaging about 33 points this year, averaging like 35 over his last 10.
Yep.
Like, he's hooping. Like, there's no question about it. He deserves to be in this conversation. You could definitely argue he deserves to be the front runner. But the narrative shifting behind it has just been nasty.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't been a fan of how this is all shook out. And we've been talking about this, I think, for like the last 2 months now. Yeah. Where we have watched this narrative kind of dissipate.
I mean, it exploded when the Perk comments.
Yep. Yeah. And I think that was
marinate.
And he did, man. He did. And to the point where they were
marinate.
I'm gonna leave that alone. But he said it, and that conversation has completely dissipated any interest that Nikola Jokic has in the MVP, to the point where Mike Malone has to come out and be like, we really don't even want to talk about it. Like, you have completely turned off our player, Jokic, to the MVP. And then people casting on to him like, oh, this is part of the conversation, or this is part of being a superstar. Like, I don't think superstars go through a lot, and I've alluded to this in different videos, different conversations. I mentioned it about LeBron James and how his high tolerance for bad conversations around him has allowed him to be one of the superstars we know him to be.
I don't want to go. Nope. Never mind.
Come on, you got.
Nope, not gonna doing it. Go ahead.
That's a fact, B. All right, whatever. But Nikola Jokic in this moment, I think it's completely off base and unfair. And so I think he's in a place where he's still playing at a very elite level. Joel Embiid is very much deserving of an MVP, but he's completely turned off from this award. And if he doesn't get it, I don't think he's losing any sleep. I think he would prefer to lose almost to a certain extent.
I would have to agree. I can't blame him for not wanting to deal with this mess of a narrative surrounding the award. It's just really unfortunate for the entire MVP race when we're talking about the three at the top, Giannis, Jokic, and Embiid. Mm-hmm. There doesn't have to be a narrative. It could just be a really close race, and let's just all vote.
Yes.
Like, there doesn't have to be something where we all have to agree on as a collective.
Right.
That's the whole point of diversifying the voters. So instead of looking on a narrative to tear one up or build another up or something like that, let's just be honest and go out there and vote for how you feel. Because we do have three people who are certified by every metric and every traditional standard of what we believe MVP to be.
Yep.
They all are hitting those.
Yep.
We don't have anybody who's the 9th seed who's losing games and we're like, oh man, they're going crazy or something like that. No, we have the Nuggets, number 1 seed in the Western Conference. We have Giannis with the Bucks, number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. And we have Embiid with the Sixers, number 3 seed in the Eastern Conference. So we have people who are actually producing wins and putting up crazy numbers and been doing it for the majority of the year. You have 3 MVPs. Just go out there and pick one. We don't have to make this whole story about these guys got 2.
For once,
this guy's white.
Yeah.
Like, what's the whole point? Like, just go out there and vote for who you feel, because you can't. I don't think you can miss.
No.
Like, I literally think even the people who vote Giannis, even though I think he's 3rd, I don't think that's a miss. Giannis has been hooping without Chris Middleton for a good chunk of the year, and then when he got him, you have to
get him
play him back into rotation.
Yeah.
So he's going without his number 2. No disrespect to Drew Holiday. I mean, y'all know Drew Holiday's Drew Holiday, but he was playing without his number 2 for most of the year. You have Embiid having to play in a new system or with a new team this year and get adjusted with that. The Nuggets have just been dominant in terms of the regular season and in comparison to most of the other teams. So I just don't get why people can't honestly walk into this conversation. And even if we all 3 got different picks,
it's okay.
It's not wrong. It's just not wrong this year.
You get it.
All 3 have legitimate arguments, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's a great race. That's how you almost want it to be.
Yeah.
But I feel like so many people have a need to justify their take or try to find a way to make it make sense to themselves. And granted, I've always said, like, everybody has their own criteria for how they're going to judge things, whether it's the greatest player of all time, whether it's your all-star selections, MVP selection, whatever. We all have our own criteria, and that's fine. The key is just be consistent with your criteria, whatever that may be. Now, if your criteria is based in nonsense, you can't be upset when people call you out on that.
Yeah.
But be prepared to defend your nonsense.
Facts.
But it feels like so much of this argument has just become like, well, either this guy doesn't play the way I think he should, or he doesn't look the way I think he should look. And it's like, what does that have to do with basketball? Like, is he affecting winning? Like we said, is he affecting winning? Is he putting up the numbers? Is he impactful? That's the only thing that matters in this game.
Right.
Like, you can sit here and justify now. We can sit here and talk about the matchups and how they'll do in the playoffs. That's all well and good. This is a regular season award. Sorry. You can sit here and talk about postseason success plays a factor. And the only reason postseason plays a factor is because people let it get in their minds and let it. That's the only reason the postseason has ever mattered. Because you think, well, he didn't perform in the postseason, so he doesn't deserve regular season MVP.
But it's a regular season award. And it's weird because you get into that kind of discussion and argument with people, and you bring up just that point, the fact that, like, it is supposed to celebrate what happens before the playoffs, and people are just gonna go into the revisionist thing, or like, we're gonna look back, and they always gonna say, oh, we're gonna look back in history and think he didn't deserve 3 MVPs because he didn't win any chips.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting here like, that is the most backwards way of attempting to give an award for what you are accomplishing now. You're saying now we should give the MVP to whoever we project is going to win the championship this year at this point. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I agree. Just stick with what your criteria is and keep it solid through and through.
I think this is what they've done with the MVP award a little bit too. And going back to, I think, playing off both of y'all points in terms of, we see the award, and then we see how the MVP does not perform in the postseason, and then we look at their legacy in full. And so now we start pointing at their whole legacy, like, oh, well, they got the MVP, but you folded in the conference finals, or you folded in the second round, or y'all didn't make it past the first. Like, all right, this we can't allow this to happen anymore, because you're really an MVP, and MVP gets his team to the finals, and like, that's not how that works. Like, I mean, we would like for the MVP to get to the finals, but you can't attribute that in terms of your criteria for actually voting for the guy season by season. Season by season. Like, which is why I did not understand how people were so upset about the fact that there was a possibility he could three-peat on this award. Because season by season, he has filled the criteria for what it meant to be an MVP.
25, 12, and 10 this year. Like, I don't know. And the number one seed.
I cannot hate that.
63% shooting from the field. And this is just the basic numbers.
So if I'm willing to give Russ a MVP off a trip dub
when he was a 6
seed. But like, even the narrative aspect for like, this is, I think, the thing people didn't like, or at least failed to comprehend about the narrative aspect behind all Jokic's MVPs. Like, the first one, the Nuggets were the 2 or 3 seed. Jamal Murray gets hurt with like 30 games left in the season, and Jokic keeps them as the 3 seed. The next year, Jamal Murray doesn't play the entire season. Michael Porter Jr. doesn't play for most of the season. 6 seed, MVP again. Like, those are narrative arguments we've made for everyone else. And this year, triple-double, he gets his mob back, and guess what? I'm the 1 seed. So basically, like, my impact has always been here.
It's valid.
It's valid. You give me talent, I'm the 1 seed. I don't have talent, I'm a solid playoff team. I won a playoff series without Jamal Murray. Like, what more do y'all want from me? Like, and I can understand how Jokic can turn around and just be like, yo, like, I'm over this, because at this point, and I feel like I don't think we have had this conversation about Damian Lillard talking about ring culture.
Yeah.
But like, it does feel like, yo, there's nothing I can do to please you outside of winning a chip. And sorry, like, you can't hold that against Nikola Jokic. I'll be honest, and granted, people are gonna jump on Jokic. They're gonna like try to chop Jokic's head off this year if he doesn't win the title. And I'm sitting here going, why? He's 27. Jamal Murray's 25, just came back. Michael Porter Jr. is 23, just came back. Like, their best days are in front of them.
Yeah.
Like, if they won the title this year,
it's too soon.
It's too soon.
If anything, it's like, are we talking about them winning?
We're talking about a dynasty now.
I was about to say, we're talking about them winning.
They're only getting better.
4, like
literally, their 4 best players are literally hitting their prime right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, not like they're hitting it.
Yeah.
They're starting their primes right now. So if they won this year, I'm scared for the next 4 years.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I don't like these unrealistic expectations that are put on guys simply because, well, we've given you accolades. You gave me accolades because I deserved it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I earned it.
You didn't give it to me. I earned it.
I deserved it. I earned it. Thank you for the accolades that have been bestowed upon me. But don't then use those accolades to act like I'm doing something that's unfair, not becoming of a champion. Like, no, I haven't had a championship mob until now. Judge me accordingly.
Yeah.
Embiid, and I'm saying this with all due respect, I picked Embiid as the MVP.
Oh man, the preface.
If Embiid doesn't win the championship within the next 2 years, I'd say, because he's older than Jokic.
Yeah.
He's had more talent consistently put around him than Jokic.
Ben Simmons good years.
Good years. Jimmy Butler. Like, literally, they have always been trying to figure out the recipe around Embiid.
Yeah.
At what point, and I've said this, and I'll say it again, Embiid has more bad moments in the playoffs than Jokic does up to this point. If he doesn't get the job done, is Kendrick Perkins going to have the same vitriol? Is everybody in the media going to turn on Embiid the same way they turned on Jokic? I want to know. Or is it going to be, well, no, man, Embiid just did it. Like, why do we do this? We've seen it with LeBron and Steph. We've seen it with a number of superstars. Some guys can get everything they want and there's no criticism. Mm-hmm. And others do more with less. And, hey, man, you just didn't have it. You should have got it done. Like, pick a lane.
Should have did it, got it done.
You should have did it, got it done. Think about how we killed Steph for losing in the play-in with Kent Bazemore and Michael Mulder. Think about it.
That's a name.
But then LeBron, and once again, I'm a Laker fan. LeBron and AD get Westbrook. Kent Bazemore came to that team. Juan Toscano-Anderson came to that team. And they couldn't make the play-in.
Yeah.
But it was crickets. All LeBron was hurt. AD was hurt. Steph was hurt that year. Draymond got hurt that year. Clay didn't play that year.
Nope.
Pick a lane. Either you're holding everybody to the same standard or you're just being biased.
Yeah. At least be openly biased.
Or at least be openly biased.
Yeah.
Hey,
that's what I did.
Just say LeBron sends me gift baskets, so I talk nice about him.
Now facts. Yeah. If that's your king, that's your king.
Mm-hmm. I really think that this race, going back to what Taman said, could very well be as simple as I picked one of the 3, and we could just leave it at that.
Bro, I could pick.
We could leave it at that.
One blindfolded right now and not be mad at whatever
it could be. It could really be that simple, and we don't have to go into all of these different avenues of clickbait type narratives to feel, I don't know, to feel the conversation.
That's what it feels like.
We're just trying to feel the. You just talk what you see, bro. You talk what you see, and if you do that, we leave all understanding. Oh, that guy's elite. I'm happy Embiid is playing the way he's playing. I'm happy the race is the way the race is because it illuminates all the things we do wrong in the NBA culture. We do wrong in NBA talks, you know, as fans, whether you're casual or not, like whether you mass media or not, we do this conversation wrong, and it's showing me who's who and what's
Bro,
what.
it's loser talk at the end of the day. And like, somebody has to lose in any kind of competitive thing, but you can tell who are like the real losers by how they speak about other people in those moments, specifically when it's tight ones. So like the way people might make fun of somebody who got bronze in the Olympics, I'm like, okay, that's the third best person in the world at that sport.
Facts.
So we're looking at it totally different. Like, so they're looking at it like, look at them crying, heartbroken or whatever. I'm like, there's such a gap between them and the whatever you want to put the next person below them in. Like, they're champions as well. So it's, I don't know. I think it dives into like the ring culture talk and just like the crazy narratives that just started up like since like the mid 2010s, I would say.
Yeah. And we can kind of get into the I guess we skip around then, because you mentioned Damian Lillard and how he talked about ring culture, but he also had conversations, and I think all these kind of tie together a little bit. How he's not interested in another Portland rebuild.
Ooh.
To respond to that, I say okay. Honestly, like okay.
All right.
When you gonna break up with him?
Never.
That's what I need you to do, Dame.
Never.
That's what I need you to do. I need you to go
I'm
in
just
there.
gonna beg my shorty to do better. That's all it is. He's in a relationship. He doesn't want to leave. I get it. Like, I've seen
No,
this.
he's in a relationship. He wants to leave.
No, he doesn't want to leave.
He doesn't want to break up, bro.
He doesn't want to leave, Greg.
He just doesn't want to be the one to break up.
He's at
Nah,
home.
bro.
He wants her to break up with him.
You think Portland didn't approach him before they offered him that massive contract and said, "Hey, bro, where you want to go?"
Yeah, buddy. And he
You
said-
think Portland wouldn't be ready to move Dame to start a rebuild and get some picks?
And he said, "Girl, stop playing. I love you."
Come on, dog.
You think
Dame
that's what
was
happened?
like, yes.
Look at
Dame
it.
was
You
like,
think
look, show me the money. Yes. And I would have too. Granted, now I think more comes into play in that, and this goes into Dame speaking about it himself. The grass ain't always greener on the other side when you're getting moved around. We see how LA's fan base, Lakers specifically,
Right.
has disrespected Russell Westbrook when he has gotten there as a Hall of Famer and things like that because of his play. So while I can say pretty confidently, if Russ never left OKC, if he was just like an OKC lifer, he would have never got that disrespect, regardless of his play.
Fact.
So I guess it's just really what's going to carry with you throughout your career, and this ties into what Spencer Dinwiddie was saying in his responses.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's like your career, you're gonna have to choose what's gonna be more meaningful to you, because if you're not a guy like LeBron James who can change narratives with one more chip or something like that, or if you're not somebody who's already on the cusp of getting one or transcending history, or if you're not somebody who changed the culture drastically, like he mentioned Allen Iverson and Steph Curry, then yeah, you're not going to be talked about every day.
So are you saying that Dame is ducking doubt?
Ducking doubt?
Yeah, like he doesn't want people to doubt him the way that they doubted Russ when Russ left OKC. So he's avoiding that.
I'm not going to say that.
Yeah, I would say,
a
I don't
good
think he
question.
would.
I will
yeah,
say-
because he's like that. I wouldn't think he would.
Right.
Yeah.
I will say, I do think there's comfortability in knowing you don't have high expectations.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I'll give you that.
And I think Dame has definitely hit a point where it's
Shorty's
like,
used to chicken tender fries. We don't
Exactly,
go on
like,
these. Like,
I can just walk out into Portland and get a 30 piece and I'm good.
I
Like,
get
the
40.
city
We
is
gonna lose,
celebrating.
but the city gonna love me.
But if I go somewhere, I can get 30. But if we don't win the chip,
Yeah, that pressure.
it don't mean nothing. Like, expectations bring pressure. Pressure bursts pipes. And I'm not saying Dame
Yeah,
not
but
built
you're
for
not
it,
saying that he's thinking or feeling this.
but I will say I do think there is comfortability in that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm with you. I ain't trying to hear this if you ain't trying to leave.
No, facts. Don't tell
Like-
me you don't want to rebuild. I could care less.
Like I think how long ago was that video? 2 years? Might be 2 years now. I did a video on Dame and this whole thing of him leaving, and I said, "Hey, Dame has earned the right to be in Portland for however long he wants to be in Portland because he is the best player Portland has ever had in their
Hands down.
Debatable.
Hands down.
I said what I said.
There's an MVP and champion that
very
came from the
different.
franchise. Like, I'm sorry.
said.
Like, it's hard to say.
I said what I
said. I know some people disagree. I get
It is debatable,
I get-
but
I feel you.
I said
I'm just saying.
what I said.
I understand
You
your
know?
argument,
You know,
but it's Dame.
I know. I know. Okay.
In the last 35 years.
Okay.
definitely.
Cool.
I feel you. I feel you.
Whatever.
I feel you.
Hey, so because of that, he has earned the right. If he says he wants to stay for the rest of his career, I think Portland should acquiesce. But I also said
Acquiesce.
if he looked at Portland and was like, "Hey, I want out," no one should bat an eye at him for wanting better.
No. Hey,
And
do you
so-
want your tribute video before you leave? Like, no, honestly,
No
I'm
one
like,
should
do
bat
too.
an
We'll
eye,
do
bro.
too.
No, seriously.
Hey,
Before
first time
you
you
leave,
come
and
back.
the first time your
We
first
got you,
visiting
dog.
game.
We got you. Like I think that's what it is at this point. But my bad, B. I think you're on the money with it. Like there's a level of comfortability here that Dame does not want to let go of because he knows I'll walk in this arena and it is my house. I can drop 50, 60, 70, win or lose. Everyone's cool.
And
because I gave them a show.
I wanna make sure we're picking this right angle. This doesn't mean that Dame isn't competitive.
Dame is
It doesn't
competitive.
mean like
No, Dame is
like it doesn't
competitive.
mean that he's cool with losing in Portland. I'm pretty sure he pissed, but you can't say things like I don't want to be a part of a rebuild. You don't have a say anymore, Dame. Like the only thing I really want to hear you say in terms of Portland and the organization, like publicly, is
Trade
when
me.
you say, when you
Say
demand
trade
a
me,
trade,
bro.
So other than that, it's like, bro, your hands are tied. Like that's your shorty, for better or for worse, apparently at this point. And I don't think it's a bad thing. I think there's a challenge that Dame is accepting by staying in Portland that we don't see often enough and that we don't celebrate often enough either because it doesn't come with a lot of winning. But the second it does, it's the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
Because
If it does.
if it ever does,
If it does.
Dirk gets a ring, that's one of the most cherished rings in NBA history now by many people.
Shoot,
if he
bro.
never gets a ring, it's like,
we call him a choke artist.
and that's what I mean. We're gonna go back to his playoff history. We're gonna go back to the finals
we
against the
literally
Heat.
called him a choke artist before he won that.
Before then, people would call him soft. It's things like that. So I understand what Spencer was talking about. How sometimes Spencer Dinwiddie was talking about. How sometimes you could be on that borderline where a chip does change an entire narrative about you. But I don't think that necessarily would even happen with Dame. I think we all understand that he's a real one. But
Oh, it would.
what would a chip do for Dame?
What would a chip do for Dame?
No, like honestly, in terms of how we view him.
amongst our conversations, I don't think it would change that much.
But in terms of
amongst
where
the
he's
masses
perceived in
and where he's
history,
perceived,
it would do a lot.
it would do a lot.
A chip outside of Portland?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once again, long as he doesn't go to like, granted, I don't even know where he could go.
Yeah,
that
that's
way
what
like
I'm
that.
saying. He's gonna go somewhere where he's gonna team up with two superstars
Well,
at this
so
point.
That's what I'm saying. But like, there's no team that he could go to that we would all be like, oh my God, that's the most overpowered team in the league right now. Like, I don't know if that team even exists in the league. right
Okay.
now. So like, whatever team he goes to, it still would be like,
It's still
Still got to
competitive.
be
Still gonna be
competitive.
competitive,
Yeah, it's not
like,
gonna
he's
tip the
not going
scale.
to dwarf the league. So it's like he would have to play well. He would have to perform well. As long as he performs well
But
and
like-
wins a title,
What-
I would say it would legitimately have an argument to move him up at least 20 spot in rankings.
Okay.
All I know is every time
He's already top 75.
All
so
I know
I was
is,
like,
I think-
every time I
is
hear
it
a
gonna
Dame
push him
Lillard
closer to top
conversation,
50?
every time I
That's
hear a Dame
fair.
Like,
Lillard
would you think he's
conversation,
better than Jason Kidd at that point?
Yeah, hands down. I see what you
But
mean.
is he better than Jason Kidd right now?
Yeah, to me.
I don't think he is.
Yeah, to me.
Like, how
I
about Jason
think-
Kidd get to the finals twice with Kerry Kittles?
I'm not, and I'm
Shout
not
out Kerry
even,
Kittle.
I'm not even like
And Kenny
saying
Martin.
it's a
Shout out. That
hands
was a
down
good
in
team,
terms
but like-
of Dame versus Jason Kidd real quick.
RJ
Like, I understand your point.
is RJ on the team?
That New Jersey team?
I don't.
That young
know.
one?
I don't think he was yet. I think he came after.
He came after?
Yeah,
I believe so.
He was real young. If
My bad. I didn't mean to mess
you
up
good.
the
yeah,
mess up the
but
flow.
like no, like as an individual, I but you know me, my criteria for evaluating people or basketball as individuals have pretty much stayed the same since we've met.
Yeah,
so
that's real.
it doesn't met. It makes sense that I would say Dame over Jason Kidd. But I understand your
RJ
take.
was on that team.
thought so.
He was a rookie.
Yeah, I was about to say he had
But
been young.
He was starting. The
Yeah.
second year, he was the second year. He was having the 15 starting.
That was nice.
Not shout out to
That's a
him.
good team.
Going to that moment, if Dame gets a ring, and this is why I say it drastically changes the
Like, does
conversation
it put him over AI?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, then a ring does a whole lot then.
Yes.
Yeah, for Dame.
If he touched the finals, people would have a conversation about that. If he touched it, people would have a conversation about that.
Ooh, wee.
I don't know. I shouldn't ask that because I'm not ready for
we're talking
Dame.
about,
I'm
like,
honestly
as
not
a
prepared
player-
for Dame.
As a player,
and
now
then
once
what
again,
he's
he's
done-
never going to touch AI as an icon.
Culture,
Like,
yeah,
culture, like,
yeah, but
that's
you're talking about. I'm
not-
saying even
But
as
we're
a
talking about
basketball
as a
player,
player.
yeah.
Play it like
I can make the argument he's a better scorer than AI right now. I can make the argument. Not saying it's true, but I can make the
Yeah, I
argument.
would say I'm not gonna take that one.
it's
But
debatable.
I mean, it's debatable. I'm just not gonna take that one.
And here's why I say it's a drastic push, because I already hear now people trying to say if you switch Dame and Steph, he's getting the same amount. Now I know that's a false. Like I know that's not true.
Yeah.
they're both.
But
They
if
may
you switch,
get one.
but if you switch a Dame and AI, Dame's still gonna be striking on that Sixers team. Like,
Yeah.
I get it, and
So-
that's why I said I get the argument.
Like
I just wasn't prepared even when
Dame
I asked
giving
the
60
question.
no matter what area you drop him in. Like
No, facts. But I mean, AI is too. I mean, these are
Yeah.
generational talents.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
So I think that's the
Yeah,
question he has to ask himself. And if you're willing to say you're not interested in the rebuild on a hot mic,
On a hot mic.
Yeah, you better be willing to demand
you
a trade
better
this
be willing
offseason.
to go in there and say
Yeah.
trade me, bro. That's all I'm
No,
asking
facts.
for.
I don't really
bro.
care about nothing else.
That's all I'm asking for. I'm not telling you what to do.
Give
Dame.
Anthony
I'm
the
not.
keys and
I'm
get
not.
out.
I'm not telling you what to do. If you want to stay, I'll shut up and sit back. I said in the video, I mean it. But if you saying what you're saying,
Facts.
stop playing with these girls, man.
That's the girl, and
Stop
Leave
playing
her
with the
alone.
I'm
girl.
gonna stick beside her.
Leave her be.
I'm gonna stick beside her.
And go get your LA shorty,
Y'all
bro.
both toxic.
Yeah, go your golden purple
Y'all
LA
both
shorty.
toxic. Somebody leave already.
I'm gonna stick beside her.
Portland not toxic. It's just mid.
They were just giving Gary Payton. They were just giving Gary Payton painkillers. I don't want to hear it.
See, we ain't even talking about
But I
that.
say
for
you
real.
can't refute that one though. Like
That's a nasty space. Hey, all right.
that's what they were doing.
That's what they were doing. I'm gonna leave. Hey, you got it.
Yeah, I was about
You got it. All right, I'm not even gonna play with it. But so
yeah. So a ring would do a lot for Dame,
Absolutely.
even outside of getting it in Portland.
Absolutely.
That would still
I think so.
jump him closer. You would say 20 spots.
Yeah,
roughly.
he's what?
Roughly.
He's top 75.
Easy,
Top 75.
yeah, it's top
But he's
75.
he's definitely on the back end of
He's
that.
back end
68
of
to
it.
75 to me, like
Exactly.
somewhere back there.
Yeah, I could definitely see him somewhere in the.
So you're saying 50 to 55 now?
If he goes to a team, averages like 25 on a playoff run, he's gonna hit a couple big shots. Like that would move him up into the top 50 at least.
All right. I know this is we're going off topic, but now I'm
We're
just
way
really
off.
interested.
We're way off. I gotta see the top 75.
Is AD higher than Dame
No.
right now?
No, they're both in the same.
But AD got that ring.
Both in the same
They're in
ballpark.
70s.
Yeah,
Both in the same ballpark.
I didn't know, and that's why
They're
I was
definitely in the
saying.
same ballpark.
But how much of that? How much would a ring push Dame? If it jumps him
So-
20 spots, but it didn't jump AD, are we saying
So
Dame did so much more
So
individually?
so here's the thing, right? It's because AD went with LeBron.
But Dame's gonna go with somebody or
But-
multiple people. What if it is with
So,
Braun?
so here's the thing, right? What if you went with Embiid?
I feel what you're saying, but what if it is with Braun? What if Dame
So-
goes to LA with Braun?
And AD, then now we're talking about
Yeah.
a crazy, like to me that would be like super overpowered.
But what if it's like PG and Kawhi in the Clips?
That gets interesting because
But that's what I
need
mean. We're talking about quality of the rings.
They need him.
I don't know how much
that
one
gets
ring
interesting
would
because Paul
shift
George
that
isn't
much.
there.
Paul George
Kawhi
said he
is-
isn't there.
Yeah, Paul George.
Paul
pretty
George
much
just
come
said
out
he's
and
not
said
the
There,
guy.
he's just number two.
He-
He's
he
number
pretty much-
two.
he pretty much said
he's
he's
not
number-
Smitty Werberman Gentleman.
What?
He's number two.
Scotty B. Grady, you mean?
No, you never saw
He was
SpongeBob?
number one.
He was number one. Yo, y'all got to get y'all SpongeBob references up, bro. Smitty,
love that.
yeah, Werben McJensen-Bergerman.
I can't believe
Yeah,
y'all just did
he
that.
was number one, dog.
He was number
And PG,
one.
he didn't want to be that anymore. But granted, after freak injuries, I can understand how that takes a mental toll too. So I'm not just gonna sit here and
I mean, and it's not.
diss PG for
It's not.
being
It's
cool
not.
being
It's not
number
a
two.
diss to PG. I'm just taking.
But
him
it
at
is
his,
wild.
I'm taking him at his word.
Yeah,
You pretty much said, I'm not the guy.
Live.
I can't be
on
the guy.
wax.
On wax.
So they got. I'm just looking at random top 75 articles. They got Dame here at 60. Athletic has Dame at 68, and they have. Where is AD?
I said 68 to 75. Yep.
No money. Wow, they have AD really high.
See?
AD at 53.
He's not that high.
And that's what I'm saying.
I'm calling cap on that, but that's just me.
So I ain't gonna lie to you. Though,
I don't think AD's over Dame right now.
And that's fair. But like, if I start scrolling through these names, like y'all tell me who you have higher, AD or Bob McAdoo.
I'm not gonna do this. This is gonna become a cultural thing or a generational thing.
I'm not trying to disrespect a whole bunch of old people.
Yeah.
AD or T-Mac.
Hey, look, dog.
AD or Dwight Howard.
I think. First of all,
I think I would have Dwight Howard.
I think Dwight Howard over AD. I honestly do. I honestly do.
Based off everything Howard has already done, and he's not good back.
And that's what I meant. Like
the resume lines up to.
It does.
Okay, that's a historic defensive player.
But we didn't answer the T-Mac question.
Nah, because it was close.
Mad close.
I thought you were just gonna go on to the next and let me duck it.
AD Dave Cowens.
I give AD both of those.
Earl Monroe.
No.
Yeah.
James Worthy.
No.
He's not better, or he is.
No. He's not better. He's not better
than James Worthy.
Wait, you're saying he's?
Are we saying
I'm
AD or
taking James Worthy.
Yes, I'm agreeing with Greg.
Wes Unseld.
Wes.
Wow.
AD. Yeah.
Dolph Shays.
AD.
Don't know Dolph Shades. I
AD.
remember when the list dropped.
Yeah, no, I say AD. Yeah, this is the one we talked about. We talked about like 2-3 names.
Dennis Rodman.
Nice. Yes.
Y'all gonna make me be disrespectful. Y'all gonna make me be disrespectful in this mic. Cut me off.
Like Carmelo.
I'll go Dennis, and I'll go Melo. Yeah, I'll go Dennis and I'll go Melo. Yeah, what am I tripping for?
But notice how we are thinking about, like, these aren't surefire.
Yeah.
Because when you get to, as we always say, when you get to top 75 superstars, it's nitpicking. So like you still want to give it its due diligence.
Bill Walton.
Due diligence.
Who you always disrespect.
Another one.
He got an MVP
and a championship
and a ring.
and a finals MVP.
Go ahead, give it Bill
Without
Walton.
LeBron. Without LeBron.
Bill Walton. I hate his commentary, but he.
How did this turn into just
Chris
like
Webber.
how did we just go just stunned on AD? We went from trying to
Chris
figure
Webber.
out.
Dame. We
I
was
go
picking
AD
up
over
Dame.
C-Web.
Yeah, and then
gonna
it
lie,
went to just
C-Web,
dragging down
like-
AD.
C-Web was nice. I give AD.
C-Web or AD?
I give AD.
C-Web never got a LeBron.
Fact.
He got Pager.
Okay. Yeah,
And had to beat Shaq and Kobe.
Yeah, Pager.
I ain't gonna front.
Mike
Almost did
Bibby.
it. Almost
Think about
did it too.
We're naming a
Yeah,
bunch of guys who
bitch.
are lower tier all-stars.
That team-
Vlade.
that team
They were
was-
good
that team was
because Chris Webber was nice.
Team.
AD 70
Mike,
to 75.
Doug
I don't
Christie,
even know the list,
that
but
team
split
was-
them
That was a
70,
bunch. You just
75,
named a bunch of lower tier all-stars.
They were good. That was a good basketball.
They were good.
That's all I'm gonna
You know
say.
what it was?
Wait, he
it was
said
Dirk.
Pager.
It was
The
Dirk
next
team.
name he said after Sewell was Pager. Like, think about that.
Like I'm
And
supposed
no
to be
disrespect.
I'm supposed to be Shaq and Kobe with Pager.
And I remind you, they were going dummy round. Like,
And they took them 7.
This was the peak of Kings basketball.
It was. It still is.
They were
And
going ham.
those are the names we're throwing around. Out of everybody we got in every franchise you could name, those are the names we're
I'm
throwing
just asking,
around.
what team has AD taken to that height?
Bro, none.
That's all I'm saying.
None.
Once again, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just once again, this is why I can see how the argument has.
I was looking at.
AD did beat Dame and them though in the playoff series head to head.
facts.
Shout Rondo.
Facts.
Rondo was going bananas that
No,
series.
Drew Holiday had Dame in a box. That was crazy.
Bro, he was into everybody.
Billy
head.
Cunningham, we'll go ahead, dude.
Yeah, AD 70 to 75. He's somewhere around there, respectfully.
Yeah.
Wow, I forgot Alonzo Mourning was on this list.
100 mil.
But yeah, like a ring wouldn't make a lot of ground for Dame.
For Dame. I guess a ring would do way more for Dame than it did for AD because
I mean, I could argue AD's not on this list without a ring, which is crazy.
It's not crazy.
Once again, I do think Dame would move up at least 15 spots. I probably would say 20
Yeah,
with
I
a
feel
ring,
you.
as long as he didn't go to a team that won 73 games.
yeah.
Dame, leave Portland, man. It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. Nobody's gonna bash you for it.
No
I
one.
promise. I
I
promise.
think it's cool to just stay in Portland. Just stop complaining to me about her.
That too.
That's what I want.
That's fair.
That's all it is.
But I do want Dame to get a legitimate shot.
Dame has to decide that for himself.
That's fair.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact.
Honestly,
Ain't nothing holding him
but
back.
I
This
am-
ain't a free Dame situation.
Honestly,
it isn't a free
but
Dame
Dame ain't got
situation.
no trade clause. Like,
I think
What are you if you Portland? You gonna trade your greatest player ever?
that's disrespect, bro. That's disrespect. I don't like.
and I'm sorry, I wouldn't try to do it in a disrespectful way. I really wouldn't. Like, I would call Dame.
There is no none disrespectful way to trade your
but like,
number one
sometimes-
franchise
but like,
ever.
be
He
real.
didn't ask.
But like, be real. Like, dude, like, let's have a real conversation. You don't want to be part of a rebuild. We're clearly rebuilding. Like,
So
all right, like, hey, dude, I'm gonna do.
I wanna
I have
stay.
to do what's best. For
I
the
wanna
franchise.
stay.
You want to stay? I have to do what's best for the franchise. Now, once again, this isn't me saying I'm guaranteed to trade you, but if I get 5 first-round picks, Brandon Ingram, and pieces for you,
I mean, if you
Am I
put
really
that
supposed
out
to
of a
turn
deal,
that down?
you should have been traded him.
that's
but,
what I'm saying. Like, but they never actually tried.
Yeah, I think they
Like,
got,
if you put Dame on the market, you would get some crazy offers.
but they got caught up in that honeymoon kind of like neutral phase where, I can say this about Portland. They don't want to be a horrible team.
Fact.
They don't want to be a bottom of the barrel
They probably
tanking
should.
team.
The sad part is they're gonna end up in there anyway.
And they're fighting their hardest to not do it. So in that moment, they were like, all right, we have a 29, 30-year-old Dame a few years ago. This is when everybody was debating on whether he should leave or not. So in the midst of his prime, like, clearly, I think at that time, I would probably say the second best point guard in the league, right behind Steph.
Yeah.
And if we want to be winners, essentially, you don't move that.
I feel you.
You try to build around it as much as possible. So they got stuck in that moment of whether we're going to move off of Dame or not. They chose to keep him. I think that window has passed.
Easily.
At this point, you just live with this man retiring or waiting until he demands a trade. There is no respectful way to just say, hey, I'm moving you now.
To be honest, the window passed, and y'all admitted to the window passing as soon as y'all shipped off CJ. As soon as y'all shipped off CJ, y'all admitted this is not it anymore. As soon as that happened. And so once that happened, y'all should have looked at Dame and been like, hey, we love you, bro. We love you. What do you want to do? We need to rebuild because this isn't going
It's not
to
enough.
work.
It's not enough.
It's not going to work.
I think that's under the assumption that they didn't talk to Dame like that.
They had to.
I think Dame
I don't-
just wants to be there, and
I
that's
agree.
it. He has them in a bind.
And I'm sure but here's the thing. There's no way you're going to tell me Damian Lillard, who has been there forever, is the face of the city, the face of the French. There's no way the front office isn't having consistent conversations with him.
Exactly.
So they've had to have told him, like, hey, bro, like, this is the plan. This is what we're trying to do. We're going to try to make this move. But, like, and Dame's not a dumb guy. Like, you can look around and see, well, dang, we're getting younger. Like, we don't have as many veterans.
Coach
we're not as good on
turnovers happening a
defense.
little
We have a
more.
new coach. Like, Dame's not dumb. You can read the room. Now, granted, Portland can look at you and say, hey, we'll try to put a winner around you. But at the same time, the front office, if they're honest, they will say, hey, man, this is going to be a really hard thing to do. Like, there's no guarantee we can get a superstar next to you. Free agents don't come here.
Nope.
We're going young. So either one of these young guys is going to pop, you hope, or you're just carrying this group. And if Dame continues to walk out of that meeting going, I'm good, that's on you, Dame.
Because you lying to them.
You're lying to yourself and them.
You lying to them.
And if I'm the front
You
office,
know you don't want to be here no more.
and if I'm the front office, I'm looking them in the face honestly and I'm saying, hey, dude, we're going to see what's out there for you. I'm sorry. Like, we can't get, like, because at this point, you've already said it. He's getting older. He keeps getting
he
injured.
has his contract extension through the 2026-27 season.
So am I supposed to be, as a franchise, just in purgatory for the next decade? Because that's what this is setting up for.
That's what, 3 years?
3 years. And like I said, because of that, we're drafting low. He's still taking up the majority of the cap space.
I agree with the logic behind everything you're saying, and I think that's why it's an emotional hiccup, as if it's Dame saying, I want to be here. That's the only thing that makes it make sense to me on why they're not trying to move him, is because I think it's always hard to just trade, especially a superstar and especially the best player in your franchise, if they want to be there. That's never a good look for the impending future of trying to sign people or anything like that. I understand it's a business.
I would agree with you if we haven't watched this play out for the last 7 seasons,
And
maybe
not,
5. I'll be fair.
It's not like
5.
That's a point because I was saying that a couple seasons ago as well.
We've been watching this for 5 years. This is the same
and it's
show
not like they
over and over.
treated him bad. Like they
didn't.
him
They treated him. Yeah,
They've given him all the money. They've given him everything he's asked for. Like this isn't a thing of like, oh, we just don't like. No, dude. Like it's
They've
just
shown
time.
him love, bro.
It's just time.
Then why do you think they haven't like moved him yet? Because I think that's the logical thing to do.
Honestly, I think this year was the breaking point because they literally tried they tried to give him a bunch of defenders.
This is the last.
I think this is the year they're going to go into the off
So
season.
you think it's the off season that he's going to be moved?
It's going to be a hard conversation this summer.
Yeah.
That's where I think this is heading.
I hope so because I really think my thought process was they keep looking at each other waiting for the other one to blink.
Yeah.
Like they were like Portland's waiting for Dame to be like, hey, y'all can go ahead and start looking for me for a new place. And Dame is like, I don't want to say nothing because I don't want to be one of those guys.
Yeah.
I don't want to be KD.
I don't want to be KD. I don't want to be Russ. Yeah. I don't want to be hard.
They might be open to move, but I'm not gonna say I want to be moved.
Exactly.
And so they're both just sitting on their hands looking at each other like,
you blink first, I blink first.
And so because of that, they're 32-41.
So because of that, they're mid.
They're 32-41, sitting in the 13th spot.
And they're gonna trade Damian Lillard for Trae Young this all season.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway.
Oh my god.
Moving on.
You keep bringing up Trae Young name in these trades. Oh my god.
Because I call him getting traded this all season, so I gotta keep.
Let me see if that actually works.
Don't.
They'll make it work. They'll make it work.
No, these guys will make it work.
Make it a 3-team trade. Try to get somebody else down there in Atlanta with Dame. Dame in Atlanta. I'm definitely going to some Hawks games.
Shout out to the GM offices, bro. They be making it work, man.
I got Donovan to Cleveland the last all season.
He did.
So
You did do that.
He did do that.
You did do that. That was a good call.
yeah, I'm trying to look out, trying to scout.
Looking at the rest of the league, man. Let's move on. Looking at the rest of the league. In the Western Conference, the Denver Nuggets sit down at 1. The Memphis Grizzlies just clinched their playoff berth, sitting in the 2nd seed currently. Sacramento Kings are in the 3rd spot. The Clippers are in the 4th. Phoenix is in the 5th. Warriors at 6. Minnesota at 7. Lakers at 8. New Orleans at 9. And OKC at 10. And the outlier sitting at 11 is the Dallas Mavericks.
I'm not going to lie, that trade worked straight up, Dame for Trae.
Straight up?
Straight up. Nothing added, nothing needed.
Disrespectful.
Straight up.
Dang.
2 for 2.
Hey, yo. Straight up. Nah, if I'm Portland, I make the Hawks in the pick.
Yeah, you gotta send something.
Yeah, you want to send a
Off
pick.
respect.
Like-
Off respect.
Yes.
Respect.
Yes.
You're getting a younger, you're getting the guy who's a decade younger who's averaging the same numbers.
Yes.
That's not Damian Lillard.
It's not Damian.
Yes.
Yeah.
We like Trae.
Do you think Trae Young will ever be as good as Damian Lillard is right now?
It's a possibility.
It's a possibility.
I don't think so.
It's a possibility.
It's definitely a
I'm-
possibility.
I'm so
Like he's literally doing the exact same thing Dame is doing right now. Like in terms of offensively.
Except for getting rid of coaches.
Fair. Fair.
nah, man. I'm giving it a day. Maybe it's just because of the way I see it, or maybe it's just maybe I'm just
feel
like
you.
a little bit delusional about it. But
I'll take it. I'm right there with you.
yeah, it's just maybe
Like-
it's the way they get there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel way more comfortable, like infinitely more comfortable with Dame.
Like Dame's the better athlete. He's the better shooter between the two. Trae is easily the better playmaker, better passer. Like there's an argument to be made both ways for both guys. Like they are different in
Hear
their
me
own
out,
way.
B. Can Trae Young rap?
I haven't heard it, so no.
All right, that's all I need.
Nah.
Yeah,
he
Dame
can't
got an
rap.
album.
Yeah, he can't rap. He can't rap. I don't need to hear it. I don't need to hear it. I could look at like just the he
You
can't
talking about Trae or Dame?
Yeah,
Trae,
Trey.
Oh, okay.
Whoa.
Never
Say like
disrespect
that.
Dame Dollar?
Dame like that.
Dame
No,
Dollar?
sir. No, sir.
You got a track
fair
of
enough.
Weezy F Baby. Please say the baby. I can't do that.
He was number one.
Oh man, Dallas is in 11. That's crazy.
Dallas is in 11, bro.
Yeah, 36 and 38. All this is separated by like 2 games from
Yeah,
like
wow.
Yeah,
4 to like
from
11.
7 to 11, it's really just a game. Maybe just a game. 12 and a half games back.
Yeah.
From the first for Minnesota, 13 and a half games back for Dallas.
Between 5 and 11, it's 2.5. Like
It's hey man,
this is wild.
the Thunder lost 2 games in a row and we moved up.
No facts.
I was like, dang,
No,
man, we
facts.
need these wins.
Like this is one of the first. This is one of the first times in recent memory I can remember. Like whenever my team is not playing, I'm like, oh, we're gonna make a move tonight.
Yep.
Like it's either gonna be up or down. I don't know which one, but we ain't staying the same.
Hey, we
For
sitting
real.
pretty at 500 right now, though.
Hey, finally for the first time this year, baby, back to 500. I love it, Lakers, baby.
Yeah, they
0-0.
AD played a great game versus the Thunder.
Yeah, monster stretch he's been having.
Yeah. Let's get to the real crux of this whole thing I'm looking at. Dallas Mavericks are 11th. They don't make the playoffs. I'm just gonna say it up front. It's the beginning of the end for all of it. Luka's gonna want out.
He's gonna demand out.
He's like a demand out. Yeah, he still gotta get that max.
Oh yeah, I mean yeah, right after that. You know how they do. They
Cut
play
the check,
a year.
sign it.
Yeah, they play a year off of that or something like that. Fake an injury around All Star, and then that all season, all of a sudden, I want out.
Yeah, bro. I can smell it. They need to make the playoffs, but I don't. I think they will. I think they will.
You do?
I actually do. You want to know why?
Why?
Because Zion Williamson has been re-aggravated and been reevaluated. We know he's not coming
playing.
back. He's not coming back.
So you just got the
announced he's
Pelicans.
coming- They just announced he
fall
might
out.
be back for the playoffs.
Zion might be for the playoffs.
Yeah.
He's not gonna make it.
New Orleans ain't been playing bad as of late. Brandon Ingram just had a 30-point triple-double the other night.
Yeah, he did.
They
Like, he
won their
finally
last 3.
He finally getting his legs under him again.
Won their last 3.
I'm
Who's
just
the
saying.
next 5 games? What next 2
I'll
games?
look.
Their next 5.
Next, I'll just say
Next is
3.
Clipper.
So yeah, they got the Clippers tonight. Then it's Portland,
That's a win.
Golden State. Ooh, Denver Clippers. Ooh.
Yeah, get him out of here. Get him out of here. I'm
oh
riding
my
with it.
gosh,
I'm riding
this-
with my.
Oh my gosh, this is
I'm
such
riding
a-
with it. Get
this
him
is
outta
such
here,
a
bro.
horrible end to the season. Clippers, Portland, Golden State, Denver, Clippers, Kings, Memphis, Knicks, Timberwolves. Ooh, that hurt.
Yeah,
Pack
they
'em up.
sliding. They
Pack 'em up.
sliding.
Never know.
I don't know what the Mavericks looking like, and that's a problem because I can't trust the Mavericks at all. They do have Charlotte, Oh man, that's a good start. Charlotte, Indiana.
They lost to Charlotte last night.
They're not
gonna
gonna lose
split.
2 in
Yeah,
a
I'm about to say they're
row.
gonna split
not
with
gonna-
them.
Are
they're
you
not
sure?
gonna
Because they can't defend nobody.
That is a fact. That is a fact, and that's the problem.
Tyrese
and we-
Halliburton getting 30 and 15 in Indiana.
That's a fact too. But then they got Philly, Miami, Atlanta, Sacramento, and Chicago.
And then Spurs close the season.
This is gonna be interesting down to the stretch. No,
This is going to be one of the most entertaining, 3 weeks of basketball I can remember. Because this is just set up beautifully for so many narratives to go.
This is what the play-in.
I was just about to say the play-in is working.
Yeah, this is what it offers.
I would officially say it is working because it has the end of the regular season something to watch. Because years ago beforehand, even if they were this close, they didn't feel this exciting. Like it didn't feel. We wouldn't say from 5 to 11, 5 to 12.
Yeah.
Like we would just keep it around that 9, maybe 10 range.
My only argument against the play-in being the reason for this is simply due to the fact that it's so close. Even if we cut this off at the 8 seed, we would still be having this exact same conversation.
I mean, fair, but I mean, the push at the end of the year where it's not
it's a lot of
just drop off these games.
It's a lot more characters in play.
Yeah.
I think that's still the case. We would be having this exact same. Dallas is a game out of the 8
So are you saying
seed.
the league is just more well-rounded now in terms of there's just better teams?
I'm not even saying that. I don't think the play-in being the reason this is exciting. I think the reason it's exciting is just
It's
because
just the year for it to
it's
be
just
exciting.
the year everything's close.
That's fair.
It's so many names at play. So many teams haven't hit expectations. So many injuries that have made this such a tight race. Like I
Yeah.
said, Dallas is a game out of the 8 seed. We would be sitting here talking about, can Dallas still get back
They're
to
in the
8?
play- yeah.
That would be the conversation. The play-in just makes it where
I was about to
we're
say,
going to get
maybe
more
I
games because
enjoy
of
the
it.
narrative of the play-in and the discussion around it this year. And I guess I would say I'm pleasantly surprised because I wasn't necessarily against it, but I wasn't for it either.
I feel you.
Fan.
So I was just like, if it makes it more exciting, more competitive towards the end of the year, then I'm rooting for it. And at least in my mind, to me, watching basketball, I get really excited looking at the standings, trying to figure out who's even going to make the play-in,
That's right.
who's going to be worthy of that. So that's why it's kind of. it made talking about the 11th seed worth something. Like
talking about the 11th seed.
No, because
I'm with you though.
Because the way I responded about the Lakers might make the play-in a couple of weeks ago is because we were talking about an 11th seed or 12th seed at the time.
I told you was gonna get
it
like
feels
Sunday,
weird.
You gotta have faith, man. I told you was gonna get there.
Not facts. I was gonna keep up the slander though. I was gonna change my approach. Like the AD started going crazy when I was calling us bums. I'm gonna keep calling us bums. Like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. You don't change the dice when you're rolling sevens, but
that's a fact.
I have enjoyed just the lead up to the play-in this year.
Yeah, and with a lot of different things in place still, or things that have kind of shifted how this may look for the rest of the way. Karl Anthony Towns has returned. Ja Morant has returned. Kevin Durant is
supposed to be back
on Wednesday versus Minnesota. Paul George is down with a knee sprain, but the Clippers are playing, holding down the fort without him. So it's a lot of things shifting. Golden State just had a big win versus Philly. Last night?
Yeah, last night.
So yeah, like all of that has this looking really, really tight towards the end. And yeah, I'm excited. This is exactly what I envisioned the play-in would offer.
It's a very fun race. And once again, there's still so many moving pieces, like PG now being hurt.
Yeah.
KD coming back. Who knows if Wiggins is coming back? Like I said, wish him nothing but the best. But like,
we're not going to talk about this.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about him. But like, just wish him nothing but the best. Hope everything's okay. But like, whenever he comes back, Gary Payton Jr. is supposed to be playing on Sunday for the Warriors as well. That's another piece added.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards just got hurt for the Timberwolves. Like, so as soon as he goes down, Cat comes back. So they haven't been able to get right. And then the Zion question is kind of up in the air. It seems like he's making progress. They're saying maybe for the playoffs, maybe for the play-in. Like, it's just so many narratives here. And then there's always the big elephant in the room of LeBron James. Like, at what point does he step back on the floor? I'm hearing first week of April, possibly. If he comes back and he's ready to go, even at 90%, like, that changes the landscape of a lot of things.
Yeah, your man Draymond said if LeBron...
We ain't there yet.
6 man.
We're not there yet.
Relax.
We're not there?
We're not there yet.
Okay.
Segue first.
I got to segue?
You got to segue. You got to segue that.
You can't say segue and ask me to segue.
Yes, I can.
It ruins it.
Segue that.
That's like having a transition slide that says transition slide.
Yeah, I've done that before.
I like that idea.
I've done that in presentations before. Transition.
Oh my God. But no.
Fades in.
No, yeah, even LeBron's return it feels inevitable. Like we know it's gonna happen. It's just a matter of when. Like
inevitable.
And like he will be back. And I think with the way the Lakers have looked, and this isn't a Laker conversation, the way the Lakers have looked.
Good, you mean?
Yeah. Yeah. They look good. Anthony Davis looks good.
10-5 since the All-Star break.
D'Lo didn't play last night.
No.
But Dennis Schroeder stepped up.
Yeah.
So
Lonnie Walker stepped up.
Real quick question. How do we feel about Lonnie Walker's sporadic minutes as Laker fans?
I feel like that's what he's gonna get. I feel like.
How do you feel about Austin Reeves?
I love Austin.
He's better than what I thought he was.
Why'd you say that so begrudgingly?
Cause I had saw him at first and I was like, man, I felt like he was getting way too much hype early on. And it wasn't me hating on him. It was just like, let's not, because you know how Laker fan bases can get, especially post Braun coming on board.
We will hype up a dude.
And I'm like, bro, and mind you, this is when we were like trash. So I'm like, hey, what are we doing? Like, this isn't going to be the guy that comes in and save us, Austin Reeves.
Yeah.
So as a basketball player, I think he's, good, decent. He's going to command tens of millions of dollars this offseason.
Definitely.
But for what people were saying at that point, that's why I said it like that. It was just like, I had to kill the small amount of hate that I was having, but it wasn't for Austin Reeves. It was just for the Laker fan base
that was hyping him.
That was overhyping way too early.
Yeah.
So, and I definitely feel you like as a Laker fans, we have a tendency to do this. See Taylor Horton Tucker Jr. But I was never high on Taylor.
Doing really well with Jazz though right now though. So sporadically.
But like I was never high on THT because it was like I said there were things in the game I was like I don't see how that translates. when I watch Reeves, I'm like, oh no, like this is a dude who's going to be in the NBA for a long time. He knows how to play basketball.
Yeah, he's going to have an 8 to 10 year career easy.
Like he knows how to cut. He can shoot. He can handle a little bit. Knows how to get to his spots in the mid range. He's a willing defender. Fights around screens really well. Like he does things that are winning basketball plays. And like I said, I love any player that adds that to that. And that's the reason he does get more minutes than Lonnie Walker. Like Lonnie Walker is clearly the superior athlete.
Easily.
I would argue clearly the superior talent and score. But he doesn't necessarily always make winning plays. Like he's just not that type of dude. Lonnie Walker's going to go somewhere next year and average 15 points easy if he gets minutes. Like that's who he is. Like he was doing that for us early in the season.
Yeah.
But there's just certain things he doesn't do that we need. Like now that we have D'Lo, now that we got Rui, now that we got all these shooters and guys that can put the ball on the floor, we don't need another dude who does that.
Austin Reeves was a little just a little bit more malleable in terms of like fitting into that Laker offense and things like, and that's what I saw. So shout out Austin Reeves. It ain't no diss, nothing like that. I didn't think you were going to be a bum. It's just more so I'm exasperated from dealing with Laker talk.
No, I'm with you.
Yeah, like
all the time.
The reason I asked that, it wasn't to compare the two, more so just to be like, Lonnie Walker, whenever I do see him get an opportunity, he's playing at a very like high level in terms of his energy. Like he's definitely, you don't see him.
He makes the most of the minutes.
He's making the most of his opportunities.
I'm glad he's not like sulking. He's not like being a headache. He's not upset. He's just doing his job.
I think he's taking it well, trying to get somewhere next year.
And I've always assumed like if Ham sees this, like we could find a way to get this guy a little more time. But Austin Reeves has stepped up, and then you, like you said, you have Rui, you have Bees, Jared Vanderbilt's getting minutes. They're playing Troy Brown a lot. Like
Troy Brown's been hooping. Like
it's a lot of
who defends. Like that's what
it's a lot of guys in Walker's way, which you kind of alluded to.
It's only but so many minutes in the game.
Yeah, and so a part of me feels bad for him because I can tell he wants it. He wants to be here and he wants to play for this team.
But you can only feel so bad because you would not make an adjustment. Like, that's the thing. You wouldn't increase his minutes in any kind of manner, at least in my opinion, to help the Lakers in their ascension, I would say, in this playoff push. So while I do feel for Lonnie, it's one of those things where I was a fan of you coming into the league, rooting for you while you were with Spurs. It didn't work out necessarily.
I was happy when we got him this offseason.
Yeah, I was happy when I thought it was a great pickup, but I can't necessarily sit here and say we're not utilizing him correctly. It's just you're just getting buried under minutes right now.
Yeah.
It's not like a Robert Covington situation when I was really confused why Covington wasn't getting minutes.
That's fair.
Yeah, so the playoffs started today. The play-in would look like this. The Pelicans face OKC.
Ooh.
Minnesota faces LA for the play-in. First round. Between the 4 and the 5 would be the Clippers and the Suns.
Woo.
And then for the 3-6 would be Sacramento, Golden State.
Ooh.
On the East, we have Cleveland and the Knicks at the 4-5. Philly and Miami, 3-6. We'll wait to see. And then Milwaukee and Boston would wait to see the winners of Brooklyn or Atlanta and Toronto or Chicago. I'll be honest with you. The play-in on the East Conference is not entertaining to me at all. I will watch that Brooklyn Atlanta game. I will watch that Brooklyn Atlanta game. I will not disrespect. I will watch that Brooklyn Atlanta game.
So,
but
my fault. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's it.
No, I will say once again, it's not entertaining, but it is interesting. One, Toronto's always an interesting team just to have your eye on. Like they have the length. They don't have necessarily the firepower, but they will give somebody a headache in a playoff series if they get that far. Mm-hmm. And then I've always said, granted, I've never been that high on Trae Young, but Trae Young is a guy I wouldn't want to see in a playoff series, especially in a one-game format.
Yeah, I would say in a play-in, cool. Play-off, like
it's all about what your personnel is. And granted, I don't think he would dominate any of these matchups, maybe outside of like Philly. Which
he'll give you one for the money though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I've been hounding the train of Atlanta has talent all year. Their problem isn't talent. They have other issues they need to sort out. So if they get you in a playoff series and Trae Young gets you one game, DeJounte Murray pushes you a game, well now you're at 6 already. That's just once again, not saying they'll beat somebody, but it's just the headache.
They might extend that playoff series.
It's a headache I just don't want to deal with. I would definitely prefer like Brooklyn or the Bulls.
Yeah, I would prefer Brooklyn too. But I will watch that Brooklyn Atlanta game for the youth of Brooklyn.
I feel you.
They've done what we expected. They've kind of just teetered back, but they're still fighting to keep relevance and kind of sticking to this race.
You're right.
Due to the aftermath of KD and Kyrie.
Mikal Bridges is a hooper, bro.
Yeah,
but that's why I'm watching. I'm watching for Mikal Bridges. I'm watching for Cam Johnson. I'm watching for Nick Claxton. I'm watching to see how these guys respond to a playoff environment without quote unquote superstars present.
So, and I'm about to ask, I know you're going to be upset with this question. Did Phoenix make the wrong move?
Getting KD?
Giving up Mikal, Cam, the depth.
We'll find out. We'll find out.
I mean, we're gonna it's gonna play out. But like, just watching Mikal in Brooklyn average 26 a game on very good efficiency.
It's like, why didn't you just give him a bigger role in Phoenix?
Like,
yeah, and that's what
that's what I'm saying.
Because y'all had him in y'all gym
all the time.
So
he was actually hooping when Devin Booker was out. He was hooping.
You can't tell me you just didn't know. Like, so it's like, why didn't y'all just give Mikal the opportunities with, like, it feels like y'all could have had this. Granted, Mikal is nothing like KD. No, I understand. And I don't.
It's just like, maybe could have had the best of both worlds.
I don't think that's a bad question to ask. Simply, I think though, the majority of the reason that question may be asked is simply because Kevin Durant hasn't been able to play because of injury. Because if Kevin Durant plays and gives you his 27 or 30 a night and Phoenix is just, for some reason, going crazy or bananas and it's all clicking, then we're looking at it totally different. Like, oh, yeah, Phoenix, go out there and get it. But with Kevin Durant having 3 years left on his contract or something like that, I don't think it's a bad move to go and get one of the top 20 to 15 players ever. I can't say you lost that trade, but I can say Brooklyn got a lot more than what
originally thought.
Anybody might have originally thought they could have gotten from that. So I won't knock Phoenix for the trade, but I'd rather just big up Brooklyn because Mikal has been going stupid.
Fair.
So how real do you think this Mikal Bridges?
That is a great counter.
That's the question. How real is this?
Is he a 1?
I don't think he's a 1. Like, don't be wrong, especially on a very good team. I think he's a 2. And if he's your 3, which I think he essentially should have been in Phoenix, I think you're really, really good. Like, you have the potential to be great.
What's the distance between him and Jaylen Brown?
I'm going to be honest. I have to watch it next year. But if you would have asked me that at the end of this season, I think it's a lot closer than we think.
That's why I'm posing the question.
Like, I think it's a lot closer than we actually think.
Because I posed this a couple years ago.
And I love
we were having the Brandon Ingram debate.
Yeah.
I said Brandon Ingram is a lot closer to the Devin Bookers and things like
And
that. Not that he was better, but that he was a lot closer than what a lot of people can just realize. And that's being showcased now. I think we're having that moment with Mikal Bridges where, no disrespect to Jaylen Brown, but Mikal is finally being able to get the freedom and showcase his talents the way you were able to with the Celtics from almost day one. So I don't think there's a big difference either. Jaylen Brown's better, but I don't think there's a big
the gap isn't wide.
Yeah.
I don't know. That Jaylen Brown.
You love Jaylen Brown. We know.
I do love Jaylen Brown. I love Jason Tatum too. I think they're great. But Jaylen Brown's having conversations on airwaves now because I think he's hearing that kind of conversation where
Jaylen Brown definitely has the mindset of a 1.
I think he has.
He's the opposite of Paul George.
I think he has the talent. I think he has the talent of a 1. But how far can he take you as a 1 is a question. So I think.
Well, I would argue that's kind of what we're seeing with Mikal. Like, that's the difference between a 1 and a 2.
I was about to say, that's not a 1.
Mikal's a 1 right now. He's averaging 26, 27 a game. But are you good? Like, are you a good team if he's your 1?
I think
Like, I don't know if Jalen's good.
I think Jaylen Brown. Okay, so let me say this. I think Jaylen Brown's potential to be a 1 is higher than Mikal Bridges.
Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you.
Just off what I've seen from him and how he's played the game.
They're
so
the
far.
same age too.
But I can't. But I had to ask that question based off your question because I really do. When I look at Bridges and I look at this play in, if they manage to beat Atlanta,
yeah,
and then they manage to beat Toronto, Chicago.
Well, if they beat Atlanta, they're the 7th seed.
Oh,
remember?
Yeah,
So
they
remember,
automatically go. They automatically go 7. They automatically go
2.
7.
Yeah. So whoever wins the 7-8 match,
So the loser goes and they play the
and they play the winner of the 9.
So
So if they win, they're playing the Celtics.
If he wins that game versus Atlanta, which I think will be a tough game.
I mean, they could.
They could though. I mean, it's one game,
and it's one game, but he looks good doing it.
Atlanta ain't the most
at that
functional
one spot.
team.
and then he goes and puts on a show against Boston.
Oh yeah, even if it's 4 games.
Like,
if it's 4 games of him averaging
if he
26
just
against
shows up,
Boston,
I was
If he
about to
just
say
shows
something
up.
really reckless.
if he outplays Jaylen Brown,
No, what if he looks better than KD did last year?
Here he go.
I mean,
It's a.
I get it. Okay.
I'm
Okay.
just saying.
You got it.
what
you
if
got
he
it.
does?
I don't know.
That's what I mean. Like,
I just thought it'd be funny. I just thought it'd be funny.
He could,
It'd
but
just
we
be
don't.
funny.
We
It
wouldn't
would just be
care.
funny, is
It
my
would be
point.
funny though.
It would just be funny.
So yeah, I think,
like if for some reason they push him to 6.
Like, no, Mikal just averages like 32 on actual good efficiency. Like, oh man, he can score on Tatum, but KD couldn't.
yeah,
It's kind of crazy.
I think it'll.
Some people would take it that way.
Exactly.
Some
Like,
people
it
would
just be
cherry
a
pick
funny- it
that
would just
one
be a funny
series.
day.
Yeah,
It would just be a funny week.
I want to see the memes.
How sick. I think Boston, Brooklyn in that series and how Mikal Bridges plays in that. Not just him, like I said, it's Claxton, all of them, all the young boys. We know what Spencer Dinwiddie is, to an extent. But the younger core that they have, if they're able to show up and just compete versus Boston, I'm not saying they got to take it 6 or 7, but just compete.
Yeah.
Then that gives Brooklyn an idea of what they have in front of them in terms of how good Mikal Bridges can be.
I'm rooting for Brooklyn to make that the 2-7 now because now I'm just interested in that Mikal Jaylen Brown matchup.
Yeah, I would love to see.
It'd be fun.
Looking at other series, Philly, Miami.
Yeah,
I'm praying for Philly, dog, because Miami gonna give them hell. Miami,
That's a battle.
Miami's gonna give
Miami
them
don't
hell,
even look
bro.
good for real. Like they Miami.
don't.
Bam is the perfect matchup for Embiid. Jimmy against Harden. Like,
And Jimmy angry right now
He
because
is angry, bro.
so he on a mission.
like, I don't care. Like, you can tell me Harden's better all you want to. You ask me who I want in a street fight. Just say it's Jimmy Butler, man.
Now, one game for the money, I might take Jimmy over Harden.
I understand. I understand.
I saw Jimmy as a one option against. I mean, it was the bubble. I get it, but
I was
against Bron and the Lakers,
about to say it.
Harden was in that same bubble.
I was about to say it,
and I just
bro.
saw Jimmy not back down from nothing.
I always, whenever I think about that series, I just think about that one break
you locked
guy.
up Bron? Oh,
no,
is
that
that-
one
He
break.
was leaning on the J.
Oh,
He was just
the
like,
My dude was dead, bro.
Yo, they were working my mans.
I don't think he sat that whole second half.
Bro probably didn't. He was trying to get a chip.
for real that whole second half, bro.
Jimmy was trying to steal a chip, bro.
bruh.
And that's why I said one game
You know
for
he
the
went to
money.
the locker room like, man, if Goran didn't mess his leg up, if
For
Bam
real, bro.
wasn't hurt.
Because they got 2 games. So I was like, Jimmy's really, you might as well go for it. And Jimmy's
Thanks.
going to go for it. That's why he pulled up from 3 for that dagger.
He had nothing left to take
he
for
could go
overtime.
OT. He
I
could do
was,
an OT.
I was on my
He couldn't do an
couch
OT.
in full out Laker gear. Like hat, coat, like shirt, everything like that. Like, yup, it's about to happen. Cool. When he put up that shot, I held my breath. Because when he did it, I was like, I would have shot that same shot, Jimmy. I had that mentality. I would have missed it too, but it was going up. It was going up.
Oh, man.
But then the next series for Eastern Conference would be Cleveland, New York.
Don't care.
That'd be some good basketball.
Nah,
Cleveland.
New York gonna choke.
I'll take
got
Cleveland, don't
Cleveland.
get me wrong. But
Yeah.
New York's playing really well lately. Like, it'll be a good series.
Heard that story before.
They are playing well. Can
They
we
are.
stop?
They
Like,
are. But then the playoffs gonna hit.
They didn't have Jalen Brunson last time.
That is true. That is true.
Or Josh Hart. They got Villanova championship pedigree over there now.
All right.
I hate y'all. We will never get a show in New York.
Every NBA team has some championship pedigree from college on there. Like, damn,
that ain't true.
Almost.
That ain't true.
It ain't true. It ain't true. It ain't true.
There's only one college champion a year.
It ain't true.
Oh man. So the Western Conference looks like Clippers, Phoenix, and then Sacramento, Golden State. That's the one for me.
Yeah.
Clippers, Phoenix is the one for me.
I don't know,
If
man.
everybody's healthy.
If everyone's healthy,
Granted, I don't think everybody. I think Paul George will be just coming back by then.
I don't think everyone will be healthy for that.
But even then, like Kawhi, KD.
I need the Mavs in this playoffs because those.
I don't.
I needed the Suns Mavs as a matchup just for my own entertainment, and I need. What else? What I was gonna go with?
I don't need to see that.
Nope. That's what I was looking at. No, I want to see Suns Warriors as well. So I would like seeding to change.
I like the Golden State Sacramento one. I mean,
I don't care
It's
for
gonna be
that
a
one.
shootout.
Yeah, I just don't care for that one.
I care. I don't know why I care for it. I think because there's a lot of nuances.
Because they're
there.
very similar.
There's a lot of nuances there, and
Because they're very similar. Mike Brown's running Golden State offense in Sacramento.
he is.
And if there's anybody that knows how to,
Stop it.
I ain't gonna say that. If there's anybody that knows how to outcoach Steve Kerr,
It might be.
it might be Mike
It
Brown.
might be him because he been in there. He knows.
A few other coaches too, but yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I think there's other coaches that can outcoach.
I know what you mean,
But if there's
that style.
one guy
Yeah.
who's like, oh no, I've been in every meeting with you. I know
Yeah.
how you operate. It's that guy.
Yeah.
Like, that's an interesting matchup. Granted, once again, a lot of Golden State comes down to Wiggins and Gary Payton Jr. and how they look because they need them desperately.
I don't think Wade's coming
I don't
back
think
this
Wiggins
year.
coming back. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
but I don't think he's coming back.
Who knows? But
Like I said, there's no definitive timetable. Like, it would seem like he's not, but you can never count it out.
You can't count it
Yeah.
out, but I would respect it if he
yeah, I would
said you
rather
would?
plan
I
for him
would.
to be
No,
out.
I would.
Yeah,
I would
I'll rather
respect it.
plan in my head that he's not going to be there.
I think they are. Like I said, but I don't think they've closed the door on it yet.
Oh no,
Like,
of course, because they're.
He can walk
I mean, yeah, you got to welcome your all-star wing.
But so yeah, so much of what Golden State wants to accomplish is going to come down to those two because they need them defensively on the perimeter.
for real.
Bad.
But shout out to Dante DiVincenzo.
Facts. He's hooping.
He looks really good for them. I knew that was going to be a good move.
So, Laker fan, who would you rather play in the first round, Memphis or Denver?
Memphis.
Okay. Same.
I just don't believe. Like I said, I've been saying this since the start of this year. I just don't really see Memphis as a legitimate playoff threat to anybody outside of the Warriors. Like, to be completely honest. And that's
fair.
just because they just get up so much for that matchup where it could just be like, I don't care what the seeding is. It could be a 1-8 game and like the Grizzlies could potentially just take the Warriors out in that series because of how much they get out. But
They'll throw everything they have into it.
Yeah, that's their championship.
it's their chip. It's their Timberwolves when Pat Bev got on the scores table. It's that. It's like,
Nah, you're not wrong. But yeah, no, I'm with you.
but as far as any other series, I think they're just as likely to lose as they are to win in the first round, to be honest.
That's fair.
So, except for like, I think 2-7 right now would be
It would be
Wolves versus Grizzlies. I'm taking the Grizzlies. But outside of that, being the first round, I think it's up in the air. So yeah, definitely would rather have Memphis than the Nuggets.
okay.
I think that's a pretty easy question.
Sacramento or Memphis?
Sacramento. Sacramento.
I don't agree with that.
Sacramento. That one's still a little tougher though. But I'll take
I'm not sure about that
Sacramento.
one.
Sacramento doesn't have the playoff experience at all.
That's true.
That's fair.
So I'm thinking if the lights get bright,
Fast, dog.
they're fast, but I'm thinking the lights get bright, you don't have that playoff experience at all. And it's Lakers versus
I always say
Grizzlies. Not Grizzlies, Kings.
there is something to being too young to be dumb. Like,
But I don't think it's youth. Like, I don't think it's age. They just been missing the playoffs.
but like, it's that thing of like, to your point of like, they've never been there before. So like, you just hoop. Like, there's nothing really, there's no
feel you.
expectations really
Yeah.
for you. Like,
Y'all got 40 wins this year. That's
the best season in franchise history.
Yeah.
Like, we're riding on cloud nine. Like, just hoop. Like, we're not expecting to win a title. Like, just hoop. Sabonis has been to the playoffs before. Like, Barnes is a champion. Like, they have guys who have been in it before.
But just as a unit. Yeah, that's what I meant as an organization. And then if I'm the Lakers and we're the Lakers and we're LeBron James and it's if he's able to come back and Anthony Davis who has a chip and he's able to stay healthy and go into that series, I'm just comfortable picking picking the Kings over the Grizzlies in the matchup I prefer. Not that it's that much of a difference.
No, I'm with you. Like I said, I think it's very much a coin flip for me. Like, Sacramento maybe scares me a little bit more just because they're so high powered. Like,
yeah,
and the difference between Memphis and Sacramento is like Memphis and Sacramento are both crazy good in transition. Both of them have a bunch of dynamic athletes. They get up and down the floor. But Sacramento is way better in the half court, which is what the playoffs become. And that worries me a little bit more. Defensively, Memphis is better than Sacramento, which, like I said, it all comes down to how you lean.
That's how I was thinking about it. Exactly. At least you have Jaren Jackson on one end to attempt to try to counteract Anthony Davis going crazy.
Facts.
No disrespect to the Kings, but
I'm with you. Like I said, it's a coin flip.
Yeah. Yeah, it just depends on bone matchups, but
go ahead, man. Let's talk about it.
All right, we're getting out on this one. I brought up LeBron James. Some other people brought up LeBron James this past week. Mario Chalmers.
Shout Mario. The backup singer for the Heatles.
It's been a while, but
beautiful.
Or starting point guard.
He joined the Playmaker podcast, I believe. Shout out to them. They doing their thing. But he says no one fears LeBron, or ever feared LeBron for real, which is interesting. He played with him, got a couple rings with him, but he had this to say:
nobody fears Bron. Nobody's like, damn, I gotta go play this Bron tonight. Nobody said that. I don't know why.
Right.
Because I've seen people be scared when they actually line up to him, but they're not scared thinking about that matchup.
Right.
You hear anybody from that era talk about going against Jordan, there's a fear.
Right.
So when you have people that fear a player, then that's telling you something different already. Like, Jordan's just that guy. Like, everything was, I want to be like Mike.
Right.
And so people have been asking questions about this the whole time. and even one of his it wasn't one of his teammates, but one of LeBron's other former teammates, Tristan Thompson, came back behind hearing his comments and said that Mario Chalmers is out of his mind. And then Draymond Green came to the aid of LeBron.
The aid.
Came to the aid of LeBron and also suggested that he has seen his own teammates show fear of LeBron. Y'all already laughing. Do I have to introduce what I got? Where do we got to start? Because I really don't have to say.
All right, let's start with the Mario Chalmers.
All right, I was like, y'all already.
All right, so, and this is not in defense of Mario Chalmers. There are clearly people in the NBA who feared LeBron James. Toronto is at the top of that list.
The entire city.
A1.
Organization, the franchise.
Top of that list. No questions asked.
LeBronto.
The whole city.
A number of people that fear LeBron James. What I will say, and I think this is more where Mario, I hope, was trying to go. I'm not going to speak for him, but I hope this is what he was really trying to get. I will say, I do think there's something to be said of, I don't think superstars feared LeBron the way they feared Kobe and Jordan. Like KD, Kobe, even you could say like a young Jason Tatum. Granted, he wasn't a superstar yet. But there's something to be said about those guys who are supposed to be in your echelon.
Yeah.
They didn't quite fear LeBron the same way they feared Kobe and Jordan. I think there is something to that. I would also say, and this may get us in trouble, like I think Steph kind of goes into that category as well, of like, teams and stars seem to fear Steph going off on them more than they fear LeBron. And I think it's more so just because of how it looks at times. Like when LeBron goes off on you, it's almost like a surgical thing. It's like he's either just bodying you, beating you up at the rim, or he's just dissecting your team controlling the flow of the game.
Yeah, Steph does it. It's unbelievable. Mike did it. It's unbelievable. Kobe did it. It's unbelievable. It's things that's like, what?
What they're just hitting. It's normally because they're just hitting shots
Ridiculous
that you're
shots.
just like,
Yeah,
what?
ridiculous shots.
Like how you shot it from 35 and turned around?
Yeah.
You hit a mid-range fadeaway after
They're demoralizing.
5 times, shot it over 2 people, fading out of bounds. Like, who does that?
But that's what they speak to, taking somebody's heart out.
Exactly.
And that's what the establishment of fear. And that has been, I guess this conversation surrounding LeBron has always been going on.
Yes.
And people always, that's why they had the argument about whether he was clutch or not in the first
Fair.
place, because the argument is he'd rather make the right play than to take the shot that would take the heart out. So it's angles, perceptions, how you view it. But this was nonsensical because people do there are several
clearly
examples.
people
Yeah,
afraid of
like I
LeBron,
can
like,
there's
no question about
evidence to go against your claim. So it's really ridiculous. I thought it was funny. Tristan Thompson responded. He had said that Chalmers probably asked for a roster spot, and Bron told him no.
Like you.
It's
What?
like
Sorry.
probably like you. Yeah, I guess you just took it a little better, but yeah, I don't. That's the only thing I can imagine is just the way that they beat you.
Yeah.
Is just when you look at it, one is you choose one over the other.
Fair.
You feel like you can handle one more than you can handle the other.
And we do hear that a lot from guys who was like, I would rather deal with LeBron than deal with Kobe and Jordan because of just how, I don't even know what the word is, like how different they did it, how the shots they were able to take, the way they were able to get to their spot.
That's stuff you would live with.
Like,
Like it's just stuff you would live with.
exactly.
But I found the whole idea of it interesting that he even decided to bring that up randomly. Chalmers.
Chalmers, it was not a great statement. It was not thought out well. Like I said, I think there were definitely ways he could have clarified it and made it better. But moving past that guy who was the Heatles beat up stick for a while, like literally they just treated him as a little brother who couldn't play video games with him. On to Draymond Green.
Let's do it.
That's your man's.
That's your guy.
Your boy.
That's your guy.
Y'all absolutely right. I can't deny it. I've been a staunch Draymond fan.
Mm-hmm.
I've given him credit. I've said he is vastly underrated in his impact to Warriors basketball, and I still think all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
What I also think
Respect.
is
This
you've worn out your welcome. You've worn out your welcome. You have crossed the line of like, dude, there are some things you don't say when you're still part of this team. Now, this was 20 years later, and you were on TNT, and you just wanted to talk. Granted, still wouldn't be cool, but whatever. Like, we're seeing Scotty do that now. We see Charles, like, whatever. You're a media personality now. You are still in the locker room with these guys.
Yeah.
You have to go to war with these guys. And for you to come out your mouth and say, yeah, there were guys on my own team who were afraid of LeBron James. What? And the problem with that is, I don't think he means Steph, Clay at all.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. That's the perception that happened when you say it out loud loosely like that. If you're not going to say a very specific
if you're not
name,
gonna say
which you can.
Festus Ezeli.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying Festus was. I'm just saying, if you're not going to say Festus Ezeli, Harrison Barnes, who couldn't hit the broads out of a barn because LeBron was in 10 feet of him. Like, if you're not naming specific names, you know everything.
It's going to be held on the leaders.
It's going to be held. It's going to be held on one man.
Yeah,
Steph.
Yeah.
Always.
Yep.
Like, there's no way around it. Klay Thompson does not get the attention.
Because he's not a one.
Exactly. It's Steph Curry's team. Even when KD was there, we can say and argue about who's a better player.
Yeah.
It comes
But
back
he probably
to
wasn't even
Steph.
talking about that era. Because
wasn't.
they couldn't have, if y'all were still fearing Braun while having KD, we just got to talk about like.
That's a whole different.
Yeah,
thing.
like.
And once again, I don't
That's
think
just
Steph,
trauma going
Klay,
on.
or KD, any of those guys actually feared LeBron.
I don't think so either.
It's just like, dude. And once again, this isn't the first time he's done something like this.
It isn't.
Like, this is where it's getting
He's
reckless.
building up the wrong superstars narrative. Like, bro, you're playing with Steph.
Like, can you really imagine Dennis Rodman while being with the Bad Boys Pistons being like, yeah, man, Michael Jordan is 5 times the player Isaiah Thomas is. Like, what? You don't say that.
It's just wild.
Can you imagine Kevin McHale with Larry Bird next to him talking about, yeah, man, Magic Johnson, man, he does things that I've never seen Larry do. What? Like, you don't say these things, bruh.
Man, I think that's even more acceptable than this one, because at least that could be on the basketball court and I can look at it and say physically impossible.
Larry
but
Bird would have turned around and punched McHale in the mouth right then.
I'm saying it's like you still shouldn't even say that. Like, if it's not just in complete support of my teammates openly, like, what are you doing?
I wouldn't have a problem. I wouldn't have a problem with Draymond Green saying certain things about LeBron James if he was equally as vocal about saying certain things about Steph Curry.
Facts.
Like, if he came back and he would address the fact that Steph Curry is the major reason why he can claim 4 rings, which he has never done.
Facts.
He has never done. He's quick to say how he created the defense, but he will never say the only reason I'm effective on offense is because Steph Curry exists. He has never said that clearly. Like, if he was able to express his love for Steph Curry and how Steph Curry has shaped his career.
No, facts.
No, it's facts.
I would be okay with him acknowledging that LeBron James is his GOAT.
The way he should speak
But the problem
about it is how Powell always spoke about Kobe.
Yes.
Facts.
Like, literally, Powell's,
Yes.
like, he dedicates the second half of his career to just meeting Kobe Bryant changed all the trajectory. You're completely right. I don't know why he doesn't talk about stuff like that. I've never seen it.
I will say,
I've seen some clips, but not like
he's mentioned it and he's had moments where he's done it, but it feels like you're so willing to cape for LeBron when it's like,
bro, you're willing to get out your seat for Bron.
Like, the dude next to you, like, Steph has done so much for Draymond, even up till this year. Like, the punch with Jordan Poole quite easily could have turned to Steph going,
Trade him.
He got to go.
Literally.
Facts.
Like that. Like, the reason that
Facts.
worked out is because Steph is cool with it. Like, that honestly, I think that's been half the issue with the Warriors this year, because Steph still vouched for Draymond even in that aspect.
That's his boy.
Like, that's your boy.
That's my guy.
Steph will go out of his way. The finals was another example of that.
You talking about the nut kick?
Huh? Not the nut. I'm talking about past that. I'm talking about against the Celtics last season, where Draymond was playing
awful.
horribly.
Playing awful. Talking about, oh my God.
And here's the thing people forget. While he's playing horribly, the entire city of Boston is going at his neck while he is on the floor.
Steph takes all of that, though.
But what did Steph do? Steph didn't just take it on. What did he do?
He verbalized it. You talking about when he was chirping back and forth?
And then all of a sudden, what happened to the crowd? All the attention went
It
where?
went to Steph.
Shifted to Steph.
Yeah.
Like, if
But
that's not the ultimate
They couldn't even hold that because he's going crazy. So like,
but once again, if that's not the ultimate teammate, like, what is?
Yeah.
I literally took on the entire city for you, bruh.
yeah, it came
And
out on
won.
top. It came out on
And
top.
won.
One of the hardest
And
cities to
won.
play in too.
Like, while you didn't help me at all until game 5.
Right.
Like,
and I don't even get as many mentions on your podcast, bro. Like you can't call me the GOAT sometimes.
what do I got to do for you, bruh?
Just sometimes, bro.
It's
Like
nasty, bro. It's nasty.
This is bad, man. Like, and I've stuck up for Draymond on so many occasions. Like, I want him out of Golden State now.
Ooh.
Like, I do. Like, and if I'm Steph, I want the same thing. I'm sorry.
Ooh.
I know that's your boy, and he probably don't feel that way. I'm not saying
Golden
Steph
State
does.
dynasty.
But I don't think it's over.
Because he was hyping up LeBron too much. That's crazy.
But honestly, I think
it's about time now.
okay, it is about time. But I do think, and I've had a conversation with a number of Golden State fans over the last couple years, and once again, me going as hard as I have for Draymond Green, I do think there is a version of this team that can be more successful now without Draymond. Not saying they could reach the levels they reach with Draymond. They're not going to, don't get me wrong, they're not going to be a dynasty again. But I think they could still be a 50-win team without Draymond.
But I saw that last year in the finals, the series,
Exactly.
because I saw that with Wiggs. I said, wow, with the way Andrew Wiggins is playing, out rebounding everybody on the floor, becoming a better playmaker in the middle of that series, while Draymond was playing awful. And I'm not saying he's a fantastic playmaker or anything like that, but the fact that was being elevated, I definitely think we're at a crossroads where if you want to get Steph another chip, that's probably the next move is moving Draymond.
Like I said, this year is going to be the tell year. Like last year was, and the reason I've always stuck up for Draymond, especially when we've had conversations, because you always, he's not playing that well. I'm like, well, Draymond himself has always said he's a 16-game player, not an 82-game player. And there's some validity to that. Like for the majority of his career, he always elevated in the postseason until last season. Last year was the first time in his career he didn't elevate his play in the postseason. If he does not do it this year, you have to move on. because he's such a unique talent that you have to construct your team in a way that benefits him. The Warrior system doesn't benefit Steph Curry. It benefits Draymond. I could argue it to a lesser extent. It benefits Clay. Steph is Steph in any system.
Yeah.
Like, he is that good.
You can give him high pick and rolls all day, too.
And he's averaging 35.
Yeah.
But if Draymond isn't who he used to be, and he's not going to be that in the playoffs, it's time to move on. Sorry. All dynasties in. Horace Grant left the Bulls.
All dynasties in. I agree. And you had this conversation about Wiggs. I talked about how we could see an elevated Jonathan Kuminga.
He's been playing very well lately.
Playing very well lately, and seeing how he steps up in certain ways. Like, we're not that far removed from a world without Draymond and Golden State. And for whoever says like, oh, they need Draymond, and
it gets nasty for Draymond though if he's not in Golden State. Like, I think that's gonna be like a world tour. Remember when Paul Pierce tried to have his retirement tour, or like,
no,
yeah, and it got ugly.
So some team will pick him up.
I think people are gonna pick him up. I think the way that people are gonna go at Draymond.
I know
on the
it's
court.
Oh yeah,
it's already been had.
It's about to be.
Unless he goes to the Lakers, because then he'll be surrounded with LeBron and AD. Like, he'll still be on a good team. So
I know he's going to the Lakers.
But to answer your question, he's not going to elevate his play this year at all, because he will actually have to do more than what he couldn't do last year. Wiggs is not going to be there to help save you. Probably not going to have Gary Payton as well, for at least for a stretch, possibly.
Well, Gary Payton's supposed to come back on Sunday, so he should be ready for the playoffs.
I'm hoping. Just hoping. All these injuries in the NBA, man, I just started taking the doubt rather than the benefit.
I'm with you.
Sheesh. Go ahead.
But it's just been crazy at the end of the year. I gotta write that one down though. But yeah, I think people are going to actively attempt to bless Draymond if he's anywhere other than the Lakers.
I feel you.
That's the only way he gets protected.
I feel you. I can see that. Like I said, it's just, once again, it's going to be very much Dennis Rodman with the Spurs. Like, and nobody remembers Dennis Rodman on the Spurs, where he was still one of the best rebounders in the league, one of the best defensive players, but we don't think about it. And the Spurs were actually good when he was there.
I would say they were good that year.
Like, but we don't think about it because, quite frankly, nobody cared.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember used to being young and seeing Rodman Spurs jerseys.
Like, but nobody cares about that version of Dennis Rodman because he wasn't winning titles.
Yeah.
Like, once again, it's great to be one of the best defensive players in the league. If you're not winning titles, nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Like, you can be one of the best defensive players in the league on the worst team in the league, and nobody will care about you.
Yeah.
That's just the harsh reality of defense in the NBA.
Facts.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be interesting this playoffs and this offseason for Golden State for Draymond Green, because I don't have a problem with someone being vocal. You got a podcast. I know you're gonna talk. Like, which that's another thing. A lot of current players have podcasts, which I'm not too fond of. I'm not hating, because, you know, if you want to do you, but
it is a little weird.
It's weird, bro. You can say that objectively. Like, it's a little weird. That's why nobody else is doing it in the league. Like, or not everybody's doing it.
I mean, it's why nobody did it before. Like, it's hard. Like, how are you literally podding your season as it's in progression?
I mean, Pat Bev's been doing it.
Yeah.
Draymond's been doing it. I think Austin Rivers is on a podcast.
Wow, there's a real correlation here.
Like,
just a bunch of guys who made their name by being
and then Paul George just started one not too long ago. Podcast P.
I did not know that.
That's what he named it, Podcast P.
I didn't know he had one.
It just dropped not that long ago.
Clippers are done.
And he got time now to work on it.
Oh my God, Clippers are done.
Nah, I don't think. I do believe that as humans, and I'll say this and get out on it, but I do believe as humans, I understand we have different kind of like avenues that we want to explore, different kind of hobbies and all that, but I do think podcasting during the season about the subject of your sport, like you're talking about the competitors, your teammates, I found that should violate, not like any kind of like actual rules, but some kind of code of conduct within your own like team kind of thing. I think that's weird. Like, don't talk about what's going on or even your open thoughts just out there like this every week.
And we know teams can do that because they did it to Draymond at the beginning of the season. They basically told him like, yo, don't do no podcast.
And that's what I'm saying.
Like, chill out.
I get it. It's not against the rules to explore like those avenues of creativity.
Right.
But that's weird if you're doing this. If you're an NBA player attempting to try to achieve something at the highest level during this season, I think you're taking away from the season by focusing on a podcast. And I'm not generally one of those people that's like, oh, I love the fact that we get to connect and hear with the players from them to us.
Facts.
But it's just certain time periods where that's really weird.
I want to hear from you in the summertime.
Yeah, like,
I want to hear from you once you're out of contention.
Or something like that. Or I get it. You got hurt this year, so that's why you've been more active on your podcast or something. Fair. But the guy who, and all purposes I was thinking, Warriors are coming in trying to repeat this year.
Felt like it.
And you just potted throughout like the playoffs or whatever after playing horribly. I just don't get how you keep this up. Like, it didn't benefit your play, and you're going to keep this up.
I agree with basketball. I disagree with football.
You want to hear from football players?
Yes.
I think football players can talk more, but granted, football players play once a week.
Correct.
Basketball players, you got 3-4 games in a week.
You on the road.
In three different cities.
You're too busy for this.
Like, I don't get it,
Draymond
bro.
just be potting from
Watch
his hotel
film.
room.
He really does. He really
and I'm not saying you're not doing all your other duties.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
if you ask Kevin Garnett, some of these guys not. Because Kevin Garnett.
some of these guys aren't. Yeah.
Because Kevin Garnett's like, hey, look, you signed the contract to play 82 games. Some of y'all sitting out. Now, some of y'all be hurt. Cool, y'all hurt. But some of y'all taking rest games. Man, if y'all don't tape up, y'all go out there and go hoop. Like, there ain't no such thing as rest games. That's what KG had to say. I think he said it on his podcast.
Yeah.
KG. And so he was making.
I was just about to say that. Great podcast. Retired.
He ain't got nothing else to do.
Yeah.
But he's alluding to the fact that players today are getting cut these checks for hundreds of millions. But you're taking certain liberties and not actually fulfilling the duties of your actual contract. If you're willing to pod, but you don't want to play 82 games, that's backwards.
Yeah, it is backwards.
That might be another thing with football. There's not like the Kelsey brothers. They don't podcast and then go, I'm not playing next week.
Fair.
Nah, they go out there and go to work.
Every game.
We Hall of Famers.
Like I said, you play once a week. You're not gonna sit. Yeah, I'm about to say you're not gonna sit that week when it's one game a week.
Right. And that's why I think it flows.
It's $1 million that week. Like, you playing.
Like, and if you're not actually hurt,
you're playing.
And sometimes even if you're hurt, that means you're only gonna get an insurance payout. That's only I'm not getting into that, but
no, like it's the fundamental difference between football contracts and basketball contracts.
Sure. Yeah, 16
games or 17 now.
Yeah, that's
NFL.
weird to me still.
Like, there's always the fear in the NFL of, like, if you do miss a game, all it takes is your backup to pop.
Yep, and then that's your
everything.
Yeah.
Drew Bledsoe.
Your backup can pop in the NBA. At the end of the day, I'm making 40 mil. He making 5. Like, that's my spot, bro. Like, go ahead and have a seat again.
No,
like,
facts.
Jordan Poole popped for a month and a half, and Steph Curry came back and said, all right, bro. Back to the bench. Like, that's just how it works. So it's just a fundamental difference between the two.
It's the reason why it was really hard for anybody to start over Mike Conley in Utah for a while.
Facts.
He was making all that bread.
Yep.
So yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting all around. Yeah, let's get out of here, bro. Let's get out of here. Shout out to all parties involved when it comes to this whole Draymond, LeBron. I mean, if y'all want to be great, go be great together. I'm over it. I'm over it.
I'm not shouting them out. That's just weird.
Soft boo boo.
Yeah, keep him off my timeline.
Potato.
Oh, just know, as soon as he's in LA, it's over for your timeline.
No, it's not.
You
Why not unfollow all?
You gonna unfollow Lakers?
Why do you think I wouldn't? For my own personal safety, like mental safety and health. Yeah.
If Draymond goes to LA,
you mean when he goes to LA?
It's happening.
It'll be worse than Russ.
Heard it here first.
It'll be worse than Russ.
Shout out to Willis Reed, one of the greatest players in NBA history. Knicks champion, one of the most beloved figures in New York Knicks basketball, and one of the most beloved figures in all of basketball, passed away. And yeah, this is I saw this and I was like, oh shoot. Like I had a legitimate moment of just sadness because I remember my dad and my uncle talk about Willis Reed and what he did for the Knicks, and it was the one time the Knicks were actually happy.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, man, this is a very tough moment for all of the old heads. If you're a young head, you don't know about Willis Reed, go do some research.
No, definitely Willis Reed, one of the greatest players of all time. Said 2-time Finals MVP, 7-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA. Like accomplishments, read off, top 75 player. Like I said, gave us one of the most iconic moments in NBA history.
Yeah,
walking out. Like I said,
the reason we play through injuries now.
That's why KG say what he said.
Yeah, let me down out there. Yes, thank you.
In the boot or taking off the boot. Having to get the shot in the ankle, hooping up, knocking down the big shots to help the Knicks win the championship. Like, it don't get bigger than that. So, rest in peace. Shout out to him. Prayers up to him and his family.
Yeah. Any other shout outs we have?
Nah, I think this is just, I'm ready for these exciting weeks of basketball to continue.
You want to do a little quick shout out to the March Madness?
Ooh. Yeah, March Madness has been fun this year.
I didn't do a bracket.
Me either.
I never do a bracket.
I normally do. I didn't do one this year. I was kind of, I was over it.
I think I've only done it like twice.
Nah, man, this has been a fun one. We have no more 1 seeds.
All 1 seeds are out. So we got San Diego State versus Creighton.
Yup.
Miami versus Texas. And then we got, where's my other one? Then we got FAU versus Kansas State. And UConn versus Gonzaga. That UConn-Gonzaga game is the most interesting.
Yeah, that's going to be the game to watch.
Like, that's two really good teams. Shout out to Rozier Bolton from this area. Played at Matoka High School. Playing for Gonzaga. So, yeah, this is going to be interesting.
Real quick, we're all Tar Heel fans in here.
Yep.
Did that... You know what?
No, I don't. I'm just laughing.
Did the Gonzaga shot... Was that Gonzaga UCLA, right?
Yeah.
You talking about did it start some PTSD?
Did y'all get PTSD from that shot?
Nah.
A little bit.
I did. I saw it. I said, God dang it, that hurt all over again.
A little bit.
It just makes sense. I think it's because over the couple of years, I've seen that shot get recreated multiple times. So like, yeah. So now it's like,
no,
whatever.
It's the fact. Okay, that's true, but it's the fact that he actually calls it the Villanova.
Oh yeah, nah, like that's the actual play call.
That's what he called it.
Yeah.
That's what Coach called it. He's gonna just do the Villanova play. I was like, dang,
I respect it. Let's keep it simple.
Yeah, bro. But
it hurt.
Nah, man, that was a great game. That was a great game. It was a lot of great basketball. Shout out to Princeton.
Definitely.
Getting as far as they gotten. I gotta show love to Kansas State because I just love when Kentucky loses. And that's just for one of my young boys that I know, Tristan. He's a Kentucky fan. I keep telling him, you can't trust Kentucky. And I'm not going to say why.
Because everybody can pay for players now?
Oh, man. That's not what I was going to say. That's a good one.
Thought that's where we was going with it. Blue Buds aren't the only ones with a bag now.
I was going to say because John Calipari can't make an adjustment. But that's.
I feel like that's way more of a shot than what I said. You're going at the coaching. Everybody pays for players.
No.
What you mean? No. Look how you said no. No.
Because it's a direct shot at Calipari again about him paying players before paying players was allowed. And
was Kentucky paying players before it was technically allowed by NILs? All
right,
then. Why everybody act like I'm not saying common knowledge? Like I'm the one snitching.
Like I'm crazy.
Yeah. People
snitching.
We were paying players. UNC wasn't letting nobody go to classes. They didn't care about that. We got all of this. This is documented. I'm just stating what is already there.
Brian can't talk because he wants to be an NCAA coach one day.
Yeah, you can be quiet, Brian.
You can, be quiet. Don't talk.
Yeah, don't mess it up. Not bad. I was about to start talking about Derrick Rose and his SATs.
All these Tar Heel fans calling for Hubert Davis's job.
Chill out. Yeah,
no, that's a fact.
I didn't know people were actually doing that.
Oh, it's really nasty.
That's ridiculous.
They are nasty.
Really that fast?
Yeah.
Yes.
Chill out. Man's bringing in one of the best recruiting classes in the NCAA this year. Like, chill out with that.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna
he might
call
do it
it,
again
but-
next year.
Huh?
He might do it again next
He
year.
might.
Yeah. Who's calling for his job?
Fans. Like,
Who?
oh, I mean, obviously.
All right, that's what. Just had to make sure.
I love
Yeah.
the code.
Chill out.
Love it.
But y'all go enjoy the games, man. Y'all go enjoy the end of this regular season. Y'all enjoy March Madness. We'll be back. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Y'all got anything else?
like March Madness.
As always, Eastwood Be the Game. Be safe. We out.